Hey guys, Veebat here with another V Plays. Unfortunately, it looks like I can't type to my team because it's making my screen kind of go from windowed to full screen. Anyways, so yesterday I said I wasn't going to cover the Beaufighter 5 unless people asked for it, and they did. So next in the series is going to be the premium version of Beaufighter, except instead of having 4 cannons and 6 machine guns, it just has 2 cannons. But there's also some other identifying features here. There's no air-to-ground ordnance, and the tail gunner has been turned around forward, more like a dorsal gunner at this point. And that's important because while we do have a lot less damage potential with the forward 2 cannons, because there's only 2 of them, they are going to be a little bit easier to use, and the forward firing orientation of the turret means that those turret guns are actually going to start firing more often, which you're actually seeing right here, because they're already in position to engage an aircraft. Jeez, why are we doing this? Come on. Get him, tail gunner. You're not really a tail gunner, you're more of a nose gunner even. There we go. 1 down. What do we got here? The bomber's still around? I don't think he is. Let's, G. Murray's gonna be a problem. Human and a ground attacker. The other thing is our tail gunner actually does more damage than your typical gunner would do. Because instead of doing 90 damage per second like a standard Beaufighter gunner would, he actually does 128 damage a second. Okay, it looks like the spit broke off of us, which is a mistake on his part because now he's in the zone. And he's primed for killing. Okay, let's see what we can do against this SE-100. We have the airspeed that's more comparable to a BF-110 now, which is nice. Nice change of pace. There we go, picked up the zone through kills. Now let's defend by taking on this PE-2 again. And since you only have 1 forward firing gun, or 1 type of forward firing gun, it's easier to gauge where the hit reg is coming from, opposed to having your light machine guns impact on the target. Can we wait for him to get in the zone? Yeah, sweet. I don't think we got the kill, but that works for me. Okay, engines back up. JU-88. The JU-88 drops in clusters of 4 bombs. Can be a real problem for us. Gonna go for the intercept point here. And got him. Nice. With the help of another JU-88, so that's kind of cool. There's a boomerang down here. He is not meant to be doing the climbing action. That's just going to put him in a bad spot. And I see a 0 down here. These things are very thin-skinned, so these 220s will be plenty for taking that aircraft out. There we go. Alright, we sacrificed a lot of altitude there, so we're actually going to vector for an intercept on this bomber. We're going to try to come up right behind him. There we go. PE-2. We're fortunate it was the Russian bomber because this one is actually a little bit of a lower altitude engagement plane. Listen to that forward firing tail gunner right there. There we go. And sacrificing some airspeed again. Awesome. Contributing, not necessarily the primary damage dealer. Alright, we sacrificed a ton of altitude, but we still have a bit of airspeed, so let's see if we can use it to our advantage here to climb up to this Ju-88. If I'm not mistaken, the Ju-88 drops 5 clusters of 4 bombs, which is a lot of potential damage getting kicked out for multiple targets. Yeah, we sacrificed a lot of our airspeed by lifting the nose up like that, but now that we're on the same altitude as him, there we go, knocked him out. And this is when you start seeing a Beaufighter flying a lot more like a boom and zoom platform. Even though we don't necessarily have the altitude performance of a German heavy aircraft or anything like that. And again, the forward firepower just isn't that spectacular compared to the standard Beaufighter. I was not expecting the PE-2 to do that. Oh, get him. That tail gunner is really quick moving and very quick to aim on target. That's due to the skills and equipment that we've associated with it. Already picked up McGuire here. Okay, don't sacrifice all your airspeed, V. We need that. We gotta start climbing now. Ju-88's up here. Well, good news is it's just about the end of the match. We're about to get into Squall. This is a very aggressive climb here, but I'm okay with that because it is Squall line and all we gotta do is knock this guy out and he's gone for good. And I'm glad we use the energy to get up here. No, tail gunner, no. Stop, 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 stop. Now kill him. There we go. So I was waiting until the zone was unlocked because I wanted to get some capture points. Not that we're going to recapture the mine before the end of the match, but it's going to count for more points at the end. Because we also got capture points. Let's see here. Is he going after that heavy? Got him. Just picked up Wing Legend on that run. And Guardian, nice. And that's gonna be game. And again, I can't type because if I hit enter, I'll apparently minimize my screen for some dumb reason, but yeah, 15,640. We didn't do any ground damage, obviously. And we also got the Conqueror and McGuire. Sorry, G. Murray, again, I can't type for whatever reason. It sometimes glitches out on me like that. So we'll get back to the hangar and we'll do another quick comparison between this and the standard Beaufighter, and I'll even strip clean the Beaufighter, normal tech tree Beaufighter, to see what its airspeed would be compared to this one. If maybe it's just stripping the munitions is what's giving it the advantage. But if we were to take a look here, how'd we do? We definitely got a tail gunner kill, knocked out 11 aircraft, took out 5 bombers during that. 33 criticals. There's a few fires in here, which I'm probably going to be attributing to the tail gunner. And yeah, almost an even split here though. 240 for defending, or 240 for attacking, 280 for defending, and it was mostly because we spent the entire time over the mine. Usually I advocate always be capping as kind of my mantra for trying to get good games, but that particular map, the mine is just so vital and everybody spawns so close to it that the bombers and ground attackers need to be countered, especially if you're in a heavy fighter. It just makes sense. Heavies and multi-rolls. So what were we going to do? We were going to compare this to the Beaufighter. So what I'll do is I'll pull up the stats on my Beaufighter 5 right here. And we will pull up the Beaufighter. And in my upgrade menu, I am going to strip it clean. And we're going to see how this thing looks. speed-wise, comparing the two. Again, there's some variances in the equipment, but as you can see, we still have a slight advantage when it comes to the airspeed. In fact, let's strip this off. There we go. That piece of equipment does really weigh it down. So by stripping that off, you can see that you're getting 338 miles an hour versus 347. Some of this could be attributed to the skills that I have. So you can get much more comparable to running kind of a speed build. It's just weird because it does have these two spots here once you do get specialization on this platform to be able to put on a piece of equipment for the outboard weapons station. So it's debatable, like, what do you even want to put on there? And the reload on the munitions is already really long, so I went with the hardened pylons for the standard Beaufighter. But we are here to talk about the Beaufighter 5, so another thing I wanted to showcase here is going to be a comparison with, I'll reset that, the Hispanos here. These are going to be doing 80 damage a second, while the ones that are on the Beaufighter 5 are actually going to be doing 90 damage a second because they're Mark 2s, not Mark 1s. And while that seems like a negligible difference, it also has an increased range, and I think it increases the accuracy and the soft stats as well. So the Beaufighter 5 feels much more consistent with getting those guns on at much longer range, allowing me to effectively snipe out the enemy aircraft. In addition to that, I mentioned that the tail gunner, you can see right here, the cumulative damage from my tail gunner on the Beaufighter 5 is 128 damage per second, while the tail gunner on the standard Beaufighter is only 96. Also, the range is a little bit less. So that actually means something, especially when you're talking about the comparison of, I'm going to mount these back on here so that way it's fitted out the way that I remember next time I take it out to fly. But with the tail gunner already positioned backwards and it needs to slowly turn around to engage an enemy aircraft, this turret already facing forward means that you're already going to be able to engage targets that much more quickly. There's also another thing to consider here, is that this is the Beaufighter Mark V right here. You'll see that the gun elevation actually goes slightly higher and slightly lower, which means that it's actually better at being able to fire on the same level as your aircraft when you're tracking on an enemy aircraft and you're pulling the nose lead on the enemy aircraft. The turret is able to aim down over your nose slightly, which is huge. Because you might not realize it, but the times that you're flying your standard Beaufighter and the tail gunner does spin all the way around to engage a target in front of you, there's a little bit of a blind spot where it's actually firing slightly above your nose when you're pulling heavy lead on an aircraft. So just something to bear in mind, that the Beaufighter's tail gunner really is more of a tail gunner, while the Beaufighter 5, it might as well be a nose gunner at that point. So anyways, it's a weird plane, it's a weird duck. Usually it's only available every so often, but if you do see these out there on the battlefield, be aware that this thing is a lot more speed, and it has much more effective munition or guns than you would initially think just by the stats and the fact that the things run clean. You will be caught out early and the thing can gun you down at range. So just something to bear in mind. Again, I wasn't planning on covering this, but people were asking for it. So tomorrow we'll cover the SC100, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.